Welcome to the Deconstructionist Deep Dive, the podcast that doesn't just accept the story.
We break it.
We examine the pieces.
And expose the machinery inside.
Let's dive in.
Okay. So what if this whole modern gospel of, extreme self-mastery, this whole cult of the grind, the war on your own weakness?
What if it isn't just a path to strength, but actually maybe a brilliantly designed cage? What if the most popular antidote out there for feeling worthless is actually the poison itself?
Today we're doing a deep dive into that philosophy, immense inner strength, relentless drive. Specifically, we're going to dissect the narrative pushed by figures like David Goggins.
Right. Our mission here is to really logically, but also entertainingly, expose some of the thinking inside this popular idea, this relentless self-mastery thing, so you can see through the noise.
Yeah, we're going to unpack the core ideas, expose the hidden mechanisms maybe, and offer up what might be a truly liberating alternative, something beyond just constant self-imposed suffering.
Prepare to question maybe everything you thought you knew about strength.
Okay, so let's start with what we're kind of calling the Goggins doctrine, the core narrative.
Yeah, at its heart, his whole story and why he's so incredibly popular, it seems to rest on this really powerful but unproven axiom.
Which is?
That human worth is exclusively derived from overcoming self-imposed suffering. He uses his own journey, the transformation.
Right, the whole odyssey.
As the universal algorithm for greatness. It's presented like it's objective truth.
But isn't that just a classic case of survivorship bias? It seems like it.
Exactly. That's the perfect term for it. We only hear from the one who survived that extreme path.
Right. We focus on the person who made it through, and we say, that's the method. We totally ignore, everyone else who tried something similar and maybe crashed and burned.
Or just found a different path. It reduces this incredibly complex thing, human fulfillment, down to this simple, kind of brutal formula. Suffering equals worth.
Yeah, a sample size of one, basically.
Yeah.
Presented as science, it's more like a personal mythology, really powerful, but then maybe weaponized into a kind of dogma.
And that's where you start to see the machinery, right? The way it's packaged.
Well, yeah, it's a masterclass in emotional manipulation, isn't it? It hits all the right notes.
It's the classic underdog story, but perfectly tweaked for today's, grind set culture.
And the symbols he uses are so potent. The 300-pound loser, the broken body, the famous accountability mirror. And then there's all the war language, conqueror's mindset, stay hard. It almost spiritualizes what is essentially just a really intense journey of self-discipline, sometimes bordering on self-annihilation, maybe.
And the emotional payload. Guilt and shame seem pretty central.
Definitely. Because if his path is the only way to be authentic, then
everyone else is implicitly pathologized, right? If you're not at war with yourself 24/7, you're average, you're lazy, you're, worse.
Yeah, exactly. And you could argue that's not really motivation. It's almost like emotional terrorism, designed to make you feel inadequate.
So you buy in.
Exactly. So stepping back, who actually benefits from this constant message?
Well, obviously, David Goggins, Inc. benefits.
Yeah.
He's built a massive financial empire on selling this exact ideology. It's a great business model.
Sure, from a business perspective. But thinking bigger, how does this message maybe fit into the broader system?
Well, some argue it's incredibly convenient for, let's say, hyper-individualistic capitalism.
How so?
Because it reframes systemic problems, things like poverty, lack of opportunity, poor healthcare access. It reframes them as purely personal moral failings.
Right. You're struggling. You're just not trying hard enough, not staying hard.
Exactly. It shifts the focus away from society, away from structure, entirely onto the individual's willpower or lack thereof.
So it kind of absolves the system of responsibility. It's a gift to the powerful, in a way.
That's one perspective, yeah. And here's a paradox that's really interesting. He talks about ultimate freedom through total self-domestication.
Right. Controlling every impulse, every weakness.
But did he actually get free? Or did he just swap one master? Maybe his past trauma, his circumstances for another, like his own incredibly harsh inner critic, his superego.
So it's not really freedom. It's more like internalized fascism. Is that too strong?
It's a strong term, but it captures that feeling of constant internal policing, always on guard against yourself, like a drill sergeant in your head.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder, what if true strength isn't about domination at all? What if it's about, integration, flexibility?
Exactly. What if resilience comes from being adaptable, not just rigid? Here's the alternative we want you to think about. What if worth is inherent, not earned through pain.
Okay, so a mindset of balance, maybe. Self-compassion.
Yeah. What if your inherent worth is actually the source of your strengths to face challenges, instead of the challenges being the only way you earn worth? It flips the whole script.
Interesting. Okay, let's try connecting some dots now. Cross-referencing these ideas with other philosophies, power structures.
Right. First one, human worth must be earned through extreme self-punishment. Where else do we see echoes of that?
Well, it kind of sounds like the Protestant work ethic taken to its absolute, almost psychopathic extreme, where suffering itself becomes the virtue. It's like a performance of worth.
Definitely. Especially in a system where value is so often tied to how much you produce, how much you endure, the grind.
But contrast that with, say, Buddhist philosophy, the idea of Buddha nature. That worth, enlightenment, it's already there. It's innate. You don't earn it through brutal effort. You uncover it. You cultivate it.
It's the complete opposite framing. And you could even bring in someone like Foucault here, right?
Yeah.
Biopower.
Explain that a bit.
The idea that society encourages us to discipline ourselves, optimize ourselves, we become complicit in our own subjugation, constantly performing worth according to certain rules.
We become our own wardens. Okay, I see that. What about the next one? The external world is just a distraction from the true internal war.
Sounds deep, right? But taken to an extreme.
It can be isolating. It's almost like a classic cult isolation technique, isn't it? Discredit everything outside.
Right. So the guru's internal reality becomes the only valid one. You get locked into their framework.
But think about Stoicism. People like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius.
They weren't about withdrawing from the world, were they?
Not at all. They taught resilience while engaged with the world, finding strength in community, duty, facing external stuff wisely, not just this internal battle.
And you could even look at, say, anarchist theory.
Okay, where does that fit?
Well, it often argues true liberation comes from mutual aid, community support, not just hyper-individualistic warfare against yourself. It's about connection, not isolation.
Interesting contrast. Okay, last one. The mind is an enemy to be conquered with relentless willpower.
This one feels central. It's like the core of the mind-forged manacle, as Blake might say.
Your own consciousness becomes the prison guard. You're never allowed to just be, unless you're being productive in this very specific, often painful way.
Your mind is the tyrant.
Which is completely the opposite of something like Taoism, right? Wu Wei.
Effortless action. Harmony with the flow of life. Rejecting that violent struggle against your own nature.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of peace can you find if you're always at war with yourself? It seems exhausting.
And maybe someone like Adorno from critical theory would see this as the ultimate expression of the administered world.
Meaning?
Where that logic of domination, efficiency, productivity gets so internalized, we apply it ruthlessly to ourselves and manage ourselves like a machine.
Okay, that paints a pretty complex picture. Let's move to the armory, exposing some specific deceptions that might be operating here.
Deception number one, the myth of the self-made man. Classic one.
Yeah, it's kind of historical revisionism, isn't it? And it really helps prop up certain hierarchies, makes systemic barriers seem, well, irrelevant.
It's the American dream repackaged, basically, with more threat and shouting.
Right. It conveniently ignores privilege, luck, social structures, all the things that make that specific extreme journey possible for some and impossible for many. It frames success as purely grit.
And the danger for you, the listener, if you buy this completely.
You end up blaming yourself for systemic failures. You feel like it's all on you. It's like polishing the chains of your own exploitation, thinking it's strength.
Wow, okay. Deception number two, suffering is intrinsically valuable.
This feels like a logical fallacy. An appeal to emotion, maybe. It definitely echoes that old idea of redemptive suffering from some religion.
Yeah, where pain itself cleanses you or makes you worthy.
Exactly. But here, it's secularized. It's presented as just the price of admission to being worthwhile.
And the result.
You can end up actively seeking pain as if it's currency for self-worth. Life becomes this, like, masochistic treadmill, always chasing the next hardship.
Doesn't sound like freedom or peace.
Not really. Okay, deception 3. The false dichotomy of conqueror or loser.
Black and white thinking. Very useful for certain structures.
Totally. Governments, corporations, military, they often like populations who see life as a binary war.
Yeah.
You're either winning or losing, dominant or defeated.
It's like social Darwinism for the gym generation. Purge the weak parts of yourself.
But what are those weak parts? Vulnerability, softness, rest. Often those are the sources of creativity, connection, joy.
So you end up dividing yourself.
Yeah.
trying to murder parts of your own humanity.
Which leads nicely into Deception 4. Authenticity is found only in self-loathing or constant battle.
This feels like emotional manipulation territory again. Fear-based control, maybe?
Yeah. It's like a twisted version of know thyself,
Yeah.
not understanding, but declaring war.
That would be a fact.
It keeps you perpetually dissatisfied, always feeling like you're not enough, you need to do more, be harder, which, ironically...
Makes you a perfect consumer.
Exactly. A perfect consumer for the self-help industry, always needing the next fix, the next challenge, the next guru to tell you how inadequate you are.
Oof. Okay, last one. Deception 5. The body is a tool to be broken for the mind.
This is super reductionist, right? And maybe overlooks a lot of basic physiology.
It serves institutions that need bodies pushed past their limits. Military, extreme sports.
It's like Cartesian dualism on steroids. Mind is tyrant, body is dumb slave. Whip it into shape.
But what does that actually do to you?
Well, it can sever that crucial mind-body connection. You learn to ignore pain signals, which are there for a reason. To protect you.
So you risk pushing yourself towards injury, burnout, long-term damage, physical and mental.
Okay. So wrapping this section up, maybe the ultimate deception we've been circling around today is this whole idea.
That your value isn't inherent. That
Yeah.
it has to be constantly, painfully earned.
Yeah, earned through this relentless war against your own humanity, with figures like Goggins positioned as the general.
And what's fascinating, maybe tragic, is that Goggins himself, by his own account, he doesn't really sound free in the sense of being at peace.
No, he talks about being a fugitive from his own trauma, running insane distances to escape, in his words, the 300-pound ghost of a boy who just wanted to be loved.
Is the numbness from exhaustion really peace? Is the roar of suppressed pain truly strength? Those are hard questions.
They really are. Which brings us to the big question for you, listening right now. If this path, for some, is maybe a prison built from past pain, what does true freedom look like for you? What does real strength, real self-worth look like?
So our call to, let's say, cognitive Armageddon for you is pretty simple. Examine the foundations. Question the mental prisons you might be living in without realizing it.
Use these tools, this doubt, to maybe dismantle any narratives of suffering that aren't actually serving your well-being.
Your worth isn't some trophy you win in a brutal race against yourself. It's just yours. It's inherent, your birthright.
Yeah. And true strength, maybe it's not about not having weaknesses. Maybe it's found in the compassion to understand and integrate all who you are.
Don't just aim for a calloused mind. Aim for an integrated one. Don't just stay hard, maybe. Stay human.
Your mind is the one thing they can never truly own.
Unless you willingly hand it over. Stop begging for chains.
Think for yourself.
And that's our deep dive for this week.
Remember, the most dangerous illusion is the one you don't know you're in.
But now you know. So here's our question for you. What is a strength you have that doesn't come from struggle or suffering, but from something else? Maybe kindness, creativity, connection.
Let us know in the comments. Question the narrative. Deconstruct the dogma. See the system.
We'll see you next time. Stay skeptical.
Thank you for joining us.